People are ready for a new way forward.
It was likely high fives all round from Kamala Harris's campaign handlers following her interview on CNN. The vice president got away for the most part with repeating her campaign's platitudes about the middle class and a new way forward, and was never seriously challenged on anything.
Let's be clear, my values have not changed.
The 1-hour CNN exclusive, which when you take out the backgrounders and the ads, probably left an interview that was nearer 30 minutes. An interview that still hasn't given voters a straight answer about whether and how she's changed her views from the far-left positions she espoused as a presidential candidate in 2019.
That is why I support a Green New Deal. It is why I believe on day one, and as president, will re-enter us in the Paris Agreement.
My values have not changed, she said more than once, in a practiced answer that can be read any way you want. We take it as a studied wink to her left flank that she's on their side, but can't say so clearly until she's elected.
The most important and most significant aspect of my policy perspective and decisions is my values have not changed.
The closest that CNN's Dana Bash came to pinning the Veep down was on whether she now favors a ban on fracking for oil and gas, as she did in 2019.
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
Do you still want to ban fracking?
No, and I made that clear on the debate stage in 2020.
The vice president said she's now convinced that the US can meet all of its climate goals without a fracking ban, which would play poorly in Pennsylvania.
In 2020, I made very clear where I stand. We are in 2024, and I've not changed that position, nor will I going forward.
But she notably didn't disavow any of the Biden administration's green mandates and regulations. And she said the country needs to stick by timetables to reach targets for carbon emissions and other green demands. Ms. Bash didn't follow up, so Ms. Harris escaped again on costs or feasibility.
It's a term we're very proud of, I must tell you. Because Bidenomics is working. It's working.
Ms. Harris slid around the question of whether Bidenomics had been a success with a talking point list of dubious achievements, including a boast that inflation is under 3%.
You have been vice president for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
The steps that you're talking about now, why haven't you done them already?
Well, first of all, we had to recover as an economy, and we have done that. I'm very proud of the work that we have done that has brought inflation down to less than 3%.
Again, there was no follow-up on how inflation reached 9.1% and whether the Biden-Harris spending boom of 2021 was a leading cause. No follow-up either on her recent announcement to impose housing price controls.
My proposal includes what would be a tax credit of $25,000 for first-time home buyers.
No follow-up on her both-sidism in the Israel-Hamas conflict.
I remain committed to what we must do to work toward a two-state solution.
And nothing on her tax increases. But there were several heartwarming minutes about Governor Tim Walz's son and Ms. Harris's grandniece at the recent convention in Chicago.
Did she talk to you about it afterwards?
Oh, she had a lot to talk about. She had a lot. She listened to everything.
This was the first interview the vice president has done as a presidential candidate, and she's the least known candidate in modern history. It was pre-recorded, with one journalist asking questions. It wasn't even a one-on-one interview. It's possible her campaign will figure this is the last interview she needs to do from here to November.
Why are we doing it live and she's doing it taped?
Ms. Harris remains vulnerable on her past political views, her recent flip-flops, the Biden-Harris record in office, and what appears to be her implicit endorsement of the Biden economic and national security policies.
If you'd be so kind, raise your hand if you think it should be a civil offense rather than a crime to cross a border without documentation. Can we keep the hands up so we could see them?
Do you still believe that?
I believe there should be consequence. We have laws that have to be followed and enforced that address and deal with people who cross our border illegally.
These are openings for Donald Trump, assuming he can prosecute the case, but that's far from a sure thing. The Harris campaign's bet, and it's not a crazy one, is that the vice president can soar to victory on a cloud of general promises, platitudes, and joy.
I'm running because I believe that I am the best person to do this job at this moment.